In this video, we'll take a look at how to set up your sheets. If your families are all loaded, or if you're signed in to Autodesk and you can access those sheets, then you're all set. I am including the 11 by 17 sheet in the module so that you can download it and use it as a family here. So to set up your sheets, you go to the bottom left here corner and highlight Sheets All, and then right click and pick New Sheets, a new sheet. This one is the only default there. So like I said, if you had all your families loaded because you followed some instructions to get those, loaded into your software, um, they would be listed here. If not, you can pick the load button and then navigate over to that 11 by 17 sheet that I'm posting you're going to download. So now that you've navigated over to the folder that you downloaded the 11 by 17 families sheet into, you can now load it. There it is. And with it highlighted, you can pick OK. Before we get started, we're going to double click on this sheet to open it and modify it. Now, you could have opened it by itself and did the same thing and then loaded it. Either way works. So what I'm going to do here is double click on it, and you'll notice that everything changes up at the top because you're actually inside the sheet that you loaded here. And at this point, then you can take out some of these things, like this whole box here um, that says Autodesk, and just really redo your title sheet to whatever you'd like as a custom sheet. This is all modifying that title block so that you can make it your own. And now you might keep all of this information in the bottom because it's about the sheet name and the project number and date. You can even bring in an image here of your logo. So there are a lot of different things you can do here. I'm just customizing it to the point where I still have information here that I can use in my drawing. So now I can save it. I'm going to save it and then replace the one that's already existing. Now, if you didn't want to replace that other one, you could do a save as and save it as a family and give it a different name. Okay, so now we want to load it into the project and close. That will close this file. We want to override the existing version and its parameters. And now we have this new sheet that we can use. The whole idea is to drag your plans and all of your project browser views onto the sheet. Of course, they're going to be huge because this is a small 11 by 17 sheet. And remember, this is someone else's project, so anything that you see here is not necessarily required for yours because everyone's doing, different projects. So I'm going to go ahead and hold your left mouse button down on the floor plan and pull it into your sheet and let go. At first, you might not see anything, so do another click to bring it in. Now, the reason I'm not able to see it here is because it's big. It's a lot bigger than the sheet, and if you zoom way back out here, you'll be able to see that because I still have my little elevation markers on, the view that's going to show is going to show anything that's in that project browser view. So not only is it bigger than the sheet, so we'll have to change the scale, but we also have these elevation markers to turn off. Now, this is where you have a choice of going back into the view itself and changing it, or changing it right here. This is that similarity to AutoCAD viewports. If you've taken AutoCAD or use it, you see at the top here, it's called the Viewport Center. So I can double click inside this hole or this view to the first floor plan. And now you see how now I can have access to the floor plan. I'm going to click on one of these elevation markers, right click, and pick Hide in View Category. See, that's going to hide all of those. Plus, at the bottom left corner, we have this at 1/4 of an inch equals a foot. So if we change that to 1/8, you see it becomes a lot smaller and it could fit on your 11 by 17 sheet. Now if I double click out in the white space there, see it brings me back to the sheet itself and not the view of the first floor plan. And so now when I go close to the floor plan, instead of seeing all the individual elements as I put my pointer on it, I'm only getting, when I click on it, this view. I can hold my left mouse button down and drag it over onto my sheet. So when you have your viewport selected, you can see that your title has these blue grips. This is where you can use the blue grips to drag it over and make that title line smaller. But now I have to click off of it to deselect it so that I can click on it once and hold my left mouse button down and drag that title up. Now it's completely up to you if you want to use the floor plan title that comes with Revit. It will show a number, it'll show the exact name of your project browser. Another good reason for using uppercase for the names of your views on the project browser up here, because when you bring it in, it's going to show this way. Now we could turn this off and then go over to annotate and use just regular text as well, depending on how you want to set up your drawing. Okay, and I noticed there's a section mark there that we might not want. So I'm going to double click to go into the view. I'm going to click on this section mark, right click, hide in view category. And now double click out in space so that I can now have my floor plan. That is really the way to bring your views onto these different sheets. You can then start to rename this. So this is going to be something like floor plan. And if you had something else on here, then the name could be floor plans and 3D view, something like that. And then in here you have some other information to fill out, like your name. Sometimes I'll change this sheet to A1 instead of the A100. I'll start the A1 series. Let's do that one more time with the basement floor plan. I can hold my left mouse button down on it, drag it over, You see, I can see the outline of it, but it doesn't show me the drawing until I click. And now, if you double click inside this, I will zoom back out here using my wheel for zooming. I can double click inside this viewport, click on the elevation marker, right click, go to hide and view category, and then see what happens when I double click. Outside of it, it brings me back to the sheet, and this is where I can hold my left mouse button down on the view and kind of line it up with the other one there. Okay, so because I have this one selected, I can click on this grip here, make this a little bit smaller. I click off of it, and click on it again, and hold my left mouse button down to drag it over here and kind of line it up with where I might want that. And now I have my basement plan. It's up to you and how you want to coordinate this. Like I said, if I come over here and click on the first floor title in Project Browser, if I right click and pick rename, I could name this floor plan or first floor plan. And if once you name it here and pick yes to rename the corresponding levels and views, see it kind of updates, and now you have your title that's a little more in line with what it is. Okay, then this is how you will set up your sheets. Set up your sheets for your plans, your elevations, and your 3D view, however you'd like to work on them. If you look over here, you'll see that you already have a sheet that's starting. So now you can go to Sheets and New Sheets and load another one. See how it makes it A2 automatically? So when you change the name, you're starting to create your sheets here, and you can move forward then to develop those sheets. A couple of quick notes about the sheets. When you pull the views to the sheets, you can only do that one time. So it makes sense, right, to not have two floor plans in the same sheet set, because as you start to bring more drawings in, like sections and details and things that you would use cross-referencing with. And so this has to do with cross-referencing. If you haven't learned about that yet, it has to do with the floor plans referencing the section numbers and how sheets are coordinated. And a reason why you would want to keep those titles. If you haven't put your room names on, we should do that to make this project more complete. I know we also have stairs to do that I'll make as extra credit for you and create a different video. In this one, we should go to the room in the first floor plan, right? Go to rooms under the architecture tab, and then just bring in your room name. See, it's going to try to read the whole area that's enclosed because it's actually developing kind of a volume for your room. So we're going to need to use some room separators here in order to separate out those spaces that have a lot of don't have walls. So for instance, here's one here. We can put the room name and just go through each one of these and put a room number in there, a room name, I should say. And then over here, when you have all of this open floor plan, it won't give you kind of a room name. In fact, you can put one in there. So what you'll need to do is to get out of that, go over to this room separator, and the room separator will help you to draw a line between those rooms that need to be separated. So there are reasons to use the room with the room separator. The separator separates the volume, and if you're calculating volume and using the space for other things like HVAC, you would need to make sure that each one of these rooms was separated. You can bypass that and continue to pick OK to place your titles. The other choice you have is to go to annotate and use the text options to place text on your drawing without the room tool with Revit. But once you have those in place, if you click on it, you can pick here edit type once you select one of those rooms, and then take off here the room number so that it's just the room name. If you pick OK, you'll just get the room name, and then at this point you can come in and put your titles here as text, still linked to the room volume. Totally up to you. Like I said, if you wanted to, you can go to annotate, click on text, and then place your text. So I could click here and place my text. Or when you first place it, before you start typing your text, you can change your text height there. Using edit type, you can change some of these properties of the text as well. So it's your choice if you want to use the regular text to annotate your rooms, or the tool called rooms to bring in those boundaries.